Welcome back to movementprofessional.com. So today this is going to be episode 2 of It Hurts When I Do This. So today we're going to go over pain with extending the neck, so moving the neck or the head backwards. So we're going to break this up into 3 categories of interventions like we did for the first episode, which was pain with rotation to the same side. So using the skeleton here, just want to get an idea, an overview of the anatomy of the neck. So we have the cervical spine, which there's 7 vertebrae. So right below the skull, there's cervical level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this big knobby part that sticks out is cervical level 7. So this anatomy is important because the first intervention we're going to do is immobilization with movement, and specifically these spinous processes, which are the bony parts that stick out the back, which we can actually palpate and feel. We're just going to want to have a general sense of where they are so we could put some pressure on the spinous process and then maybe even guide it slightly up to give the specific vertebrae a traction force while we try to extend. So we can do that by using our finger, just like we did with the cervical rotation. We can think about finding the area where there's the most pain felt. So that's where I'm going to start with my pressure, and then I'm going to give a slight pressure in and upward to try to create a traction as I extend around that. So this works decently well, and if I have 2 hands, I can even take both of my middle fingers or my thumbs, and I can kind of drag up as I extend over it. What works even better though is using a towel or a strap. So if I could take this mulligan strap here, I'm going to try to think about finding the vertebrae that would be closest to where I have pain, and I'm going to put the strap right on or below that vertebrae, and I'm going to move it forward, and then the angle is going to be kind of forward and up while I extend my head. So what it would look like is I'm going to find the general area where I feel the pain. I'm going to go forward with my hands, and I'm going to go up. So that creates the traction force. As I do that, I'm also going to extend my head, and that should guide my extension. So what I'm looking for is that the pain is either abolished or much less when I have the strap in the right place. I can, again, do this with my finger, but again, a lot of times the strap's going to give you a lot more leverage, and you're going to be able to get more range of motion and create a little bit more of that traction force, which should decrease the pain. All right, and again, you can look at different vertebrae, even if it's in the area that you're feeling the pain, but when you actually put it there, it doesn't really make much of a change. Try a vertebrae above or below. You might be surprised that of what area of the neck actually has the best positive effect on the symptoms. So that's category number 1. It's immobilization with movement. Category number 2 would be looking more broadly at how to think about our posture in relation to this problem. So a lot of times if the neck hurts with extension, we don't really have a good idea of where our head is in relation to the body. So if my head's a little bit in front of the body, this is going to feel different than if I get my head back over my body. My extension might feel a little bit better there. Along with that, it can be helpful to change the shoulder position. So category number 2 is going to be hands behind the head to, 1, just try to bring the thoracic spine in line with the cervical spine. And at the same time, I want to have the back of my belt or the base of the sacrum right underneath my shoulder. So I'm going to use a flat back chair. My feet are going to be planted. And then I'm going to put my hands behind the head, and then again I can create a little bit of a traction force. My thumbs are touching the back of the neck like a little bit of a massage, and I'm going to try to give myself a little bit of a traction force up while I go back into the chair. I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to slide my hands to the top and allow myself to go into extension. And then from there I'm going to use my hands to guide myself back, and I can bring the hands down. So I'm assessing how far can I go without pain. So sometimes just putting the hands there and doing the extension with the hands behind the head totally takes the pain away. Sometimes it allows you to go a lot farther, but you need to keep the hands there. You can't go all the way. What we're looking for is more range of motion without pain. Not necessarily complete abolition of pain, but you might get it just by having the hands there. And then you can do 5 to 10 reps of that, and it just keeps the range of motion in your neck while the tissue that might be sensitive is healing. So that would be category number 2, hands behind head. The other thing to think about for any type of neck movement backwards is the sternum here. So if we go back to the skeleton, we think about this sternum as being connected to pump handle breathing with inhalation, where you think about the lungs being in here. Every time you inhale, you want this pump handle or the sternum to move up and forward a little bit. So if my sternum is somehow tipped down and I try to extend my neck, I'm going to get a lot more stress in the neck than if I were to be able to inflate in the front here of the chest and move backwards there. So when I have my hands behind the head, I want to think about that I'm able to lift the sternum a little bit. So it could be helpful to take a nice inhale into the chest, hold that inhale, and then let go as I bring the head back. All right, because the more this sternum is inflated, or the pump handle is elevated on the front side, it helps to give a little bit of support or share the load with the back of the neck. So the same thing is going to be true with this next intervention, which would be adding some shoulder extension or some type of hand behind back motion to my neck extension. So I'm going to do that in standing here, and wherever we decide to do this, we still want to make sure that the head is over the shoulders, is over the pelvis. So I'm going to think about bringing my hands back, and when I focus on bringing the hands back, it is really to enhance this pump handle movement. I want to think about my fingers reaching back while my sternum kind of elevates forward. All right, so I'm going to take that nice inhale into the chest as I reach the arms back, and then I'm going to bring the head back and then relax. And again, I want to see if that type of intervention, moving the arms behind, keeping the pump handle elevated, if all of that decreases the pain I'm getting in the neck while I extend the neck back. If it does, it tells me I'm onto something, and I can't just treat the neck, I have to treat the whole body. A really good way to do this is to use, again, a chair we can use, or we can try to use some type of pillar where the head is free. So we'll show with the chair here. I'm going to bring the arms back again, because now I have a better reference for my sacrum being right under the rib cage, and then I can feel the sternum go forward, and then at that point I'm going to bring the head back, trying to maintain that feeling of the sternum forward and the arms back. Bring everything back, relax, and repeat. Do that for reps and see if I can move farther with less pain. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, you can go to movementprofessional.com. I'll see you next time.